Influencing Our Culture by Kate Sullivan. For this module, I have created a video talking about a song, movie, and words and phrases that impact our society. I first want to talk about one song that has impacted culture, and that is Bob Dylan's Blowin' in the Wind. The song was released in 1963, becoming popular for its release during the Civil Rights Movement, a sort of anthem for the movement. According to Music Politics, Bob Dylan performed Blowing in the Wind before Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. The song questions civil rights, war, peace, and other social problems during that time that were very relevant. The song was an anthem during the civil rights movement and impacted culture of black rights by serving as the song to represent change with lyrics such as "How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned?" Or "How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free?" Or "How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died?" Protesters during civil rights and later anti-Vietnam protests sang this song and allowed society to question war, violence, and diversity. Fast forwarding to the future, I'd like to talk about the 2019 movie Parasite. The movie follows two families in South Korea, the Parks who are a very wealthy family on the right and the Kims who are a poor family on the left. The movie is about the lengths that the Kim family living in poverty are willing to go in order to climb the ladder of social success. It uses architectural lines to show the divide. The Parks are always on one side of this architectural divide and the Kims are always on the other. Here's another example where Mrs. Park is on the right and Mr. Kim is on the left. It also uses stairs in the film, and it always shows the Kims going down the stairs symbolizing the poverty, and the Parks going up the stairs symbolizing how the wealthy only move up. The film also uses a sense of smell, since the Kims cannot afford a shower as the climax breaking point for the family. Altogether, Parasite examines the complex struggles and outcomes of material wealth in a way that portrays how far someone is willing to go in order to achieve their goals. The movie uses minimalistic architecture to capture social status differences, the symbolism of smell to show how, no matter how successful some people may be, it will never be enough. This movie brought the realization of cultural differences between social status and breaking lower working class citizen stereotypes. Lastly, I want to talk about words and phrases that are used in society and how they are changing. A huge one is the N-word, which is a derogatory term toward black people. Obviously, the word should never be said by a non-black person, but punishments for using the word have started to take effect. In the NFL, a first offense in a game is a 15-yard penalty followed by ejection from the game on a player's second offense. Celebrities such as Justin Bieber, Joe Rogan, Morgan Wallen, and so many others have been caught saying it, but it is more influencers on social media sites who get canceled. Another word is the R word, created as a name to call others with intellectual and developmental disabilities, or IDD. The R word is especially sensitive for me since my cousin Rachel has low-functioning autism, so when I hear others at school saying it, it is heartbreaking for me. Although the term isn't typically used directly to someone with IDD, it is a form of hate speech nonetheless. Spread the Word to End the Word Inclusion is an international organization determined to stop the word and help others with IDD, and one local organization right in Oconomowoc called Journey 21 is the newest establishment that also helps adults with IDD. Although those two words are some of the biggest slurs we hear about, there are so many that have been created for all different groups of people. Phrases such as "that's gay" have recently brought to light as offensive and insensitive. Although these slurs, words, and phrases have been set as politically incorrect, people of course still say them in private. For the times that are not in private, cancel culture typically takes over. Some Pew Research volunteers voice their opinions, and I'd like to share the following. This quote is from a woman in her 50s who considers herself a moderate Democrat, saying, "I'm a white female and grew up in a predominantly white community. I live in a very white community now. Implicit bias, having racial bias when you don't even realize, is a challenge to me. I was raised believing that racial and ethnic slurs and jokes were okay, even accepted. I'm trying to do better, but sometimes I slip up, and I shouldn't be punished for that." A woman in her 50s who considers herself a conservative Republican says, "Silence equals agreement. If it is wrong, people should say so. If people say so, that might cause the person posting it to rethink their point of view. It encourages discussion." A man in his 30s who considers himself a moderate Republican says, tone is very important and tone is missing when words are typed online. Secondly, free speech is our First Amendment right. I may not agree with a person's views, but I agree that they have the right to express themselves freely. Lastly, a man in his 30s who considers himself a liberal Democrat says, with calling out culture, people look closer at their actions, forcing them to examine what they are doing, why they are doing it, and what are the consequences of said action. People have mixed opinions on what good calling out others is, and it's a debatable topic. I think calling people out for their actions is important, but the internet forgets these things in a matter of days. So what real impact does cancel culture have? Altogether, words and phrases used in society have certainly gotten better while we realize lots of these things are offensive. I think some people are extremely sensitive and looking for a way to cause drama and put blame on others. But in some instances, we have collectively decided to get rid of words and phrases that cause hurt to certain people, whether it regards their race, sexual orientation, religion, and more. Culture is a broad term covering so many areas, especially entertainment in today's world, which is why Blowing in the Wind, Parasite, and words and phrases that are being cut out of today are perfect representation of cultural change.